All right, and welcome back to the currently Untitled Metal Show here on 91.9 FM WCAL, California, Pennsylvania. I'm your host, Zach, and I'm playing some of my favorite hard rock and heavy metal today. This is a busy day. I had to fix the rotors and brakes on my car, and I also have an interview to do. Welcome, Tartarus. Why don't you jump on the mics, introduce yourselves, tell us who you are. One of you. Seriously, don't all jump at the microphones at once.
Well, ladies first. Do it.
Hi, I am the singer of Tartarus. I go by Sekmet.
I am Hirokin. I play bass.
You can move the microphones closer to your face.
I'm Conspiratus. I play drums.
I'm Imperador. I play guitar, unfortunately.
You're going to have to get a little closer to the microphone for that. Speak into... Oh, my goodness. Am I going to have to kick out an interview less than 2 minutes into it?
Yeah.
What am I doing?
You all... the microphone's got to be real close.
Okay, sounds good.
Yes, when you talk. All right. Sorry, I didn't brief you on how close you actually have to get.
Is this okay?
That is
okay?
That is okay.
All right.
Project your voice. Come on, don't be embarrassed. They can't actually see you.
Thank God.
All the listeners out there are just, judging your voice and who you are. But welcome to the studio. Is this your first time down here, everyone?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yep, for me.
That's a little weird for you, too. Conspiratus? Is that what you're going by nowadays?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you are from CalU. Well, you went here.
Yep, I graduated in December of 2013. Yep. My major was the new commercial music tech major. But yeah, it's been a while since I've been here. A lot of changes have taken place.
How do you feel about the new building? Do you like it?
It's pretty amazing. From what it was, oh God, yeah, big change. But yeah, I like it. It's pretty cool. Great facility.
It's enjoyable. While we're on the topic, I'm going to bug you with it anyway at some point. So how do you like the CMT program? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. When we first started, I think I was in the first or second cohort there. Brand new major. No one knew what to expect. We were the guinea pigs, pretty much. The professors were always changing courses around and changing the curriculum around. But from what it was to where it is now, there's been some major growth, just like any new thing. It kind of grew fast too. It's we're partnered with Avid, who makes Pro Tools.
Mm-hmm.
So the whole studio, we get a lot of free recording software, plugins, a lot of gear, a lot of microphones in there. They're really helping us out in the equipment department there. My brother Jeff, who's graduating in May, he kind of keeps me filled in on a lot of the tech stuff that goes on there. So, yeah.
I've heard some good things about it. We've actually, out of all the bands playing heavy metal Monessen, we've got 3 connections to this program. 3 of the bands have all had students either in it or graduate from it. So
Suspicious.
Suspicious. Well, I wonder where I'm doing my recruiting. Local CalU talent, Cabaret Runaway. If you know Andrew Dinger and Kyle Pertel, they're both CMT grads.
Mm-hmm.
Yourself, your brother, but he's kind of associated by the name. And Shadow of Corvus, another current member, Brandon Bonner, and one of our DJs.
Yeah, Brandon's a cool dude. Very cool. We in my other band, Kill Orion, we played a house show at this place called the Dojo. I don't know if it's still around for all the fans living, but we played a show with Cabaret Runaway, and since then, Andrew Dinger and Kyle Pertel really kept the thing going, and they're awesome. They went on that tour. They had a really cool tour. I'm not too sure if they've talked to you about it yet. But
last, of course.
Yeah.
Last fall. But we're not here to talk about them.
Yeah.
They're coming in next
Who
week.
are they again? Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, I've got a Dinger coming in next Sunday, so
Cool.
you can tune in for that. But right now, we got Tartarus. So, welcome. Why the name Tartarus? Why did you choose that one?
Well, after I left my first band that I was in, and before me and Ben kind of joined forces, I was really into just really obsessing over Greek mythology at the time. I was really drawn towards that. and came across the name, and I feel it's very fitting symbolically for what we're trying to do with our music, because in Greek mythology, it's the lowest pit of the underworld. A lot of bad guys go there. So, yeah, it's not a good place you want to be, and it's a very dark place, and it just is a good representation of what our music is and what it is to me personally. So.
And tartar sauce is our favorite condiment.
And tartar sauce is the best condiment out there.
You may or may have not have been referred to as tartar sauce in a few conversations.
Not at all.
I
never got that.
Cough, 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 Zach.
We were going to tape a tartar sauce package to our debut EP, but we never got around to it. So
Give them out at shows. Listen to us. If you like this, you might actually like our music.
That's the last thing we need, people throwing tartar sauce packets at us on stage.
It could be worse. Like, you could be a hockey team getting squid thrown at you,
or rats.
or rats, or other disgusting hobbies, or what word am I looking for? Traditions.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, Tartarus, the worst place to be in Greek mythology. Also pretty accurate for where we are in this building, because we're located right under the gold rush, where we used to have a whole bunch of cockroaches. So, kind of fitting. It's improved a little bit. But yeah, you've got Brian came in. He handed me one of these, one of your CDs. I can't pronounce the name. Who wants to do it for me?
Let's give it a shot, man. I mean, like, I can't even pronounce it myself. Et eritis sicut di. D-I. I fucking suck at
Yeah.
Wow. Not even 7 minutes in. Not even 7
Am I
minutes
not allowed
in.
to cuss?
No.
Oh.
This is public radio.
This is
son.
FM radio.
Sorry.
I should have warned you while you were in the bathroom.
Yeah, you should have.
Yes, no.
I have a really bad potty mouth.
So do I. You should hear me off air. Yes, no F words, no S words, no most of them. Bad. So now that we have to repeat those last 7 seconds that we just lost, how do you pronounce the name of your album?
Sorry, I have a potty mouth, so I kind of messed that up. We'll try that. Et eritis sicut di. Sure. Yeah, that works.
So where'd the name come from? Which one of you can give the story?
It's kind of a play on the Latin saying, you will be as gods, as God, which is what supposedly the serpent said to Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden, and I changed it to gods because that's more of the route that we're going rather than singularity.
It's a Gnostic philosophy.
All right. Fits with the whole Greek mythology,
Yeah.
the bit. You've got some nods to Egyptian as well, with song Execration of Set,
Yes.
another Egyptian god. So is mythology something you guys write about a lot?
Yeah.
Or
Like all
Almost
the time.
exclusively.
almost exclusively?
Yeah, like all the time. That was the first, whenever Ben and I first started getting together and writing songs, that was like something we agreed upon, was that, ancient history and like mythology also is just like very important to us. And me personally, that's like how my brain works. It's just very like, I'm so connected to mythology, and I love it very much, Egyptian mythology specifically. So, yeah, that's what we do because it's our passion, and it's something that's honest. We're not making cookie cutter music. We wanted to do something that was honest to ourselves and incorporate some themes that were on that same page. So
I dig it. I played a lot of Age of Mythology in my day. I also love God of War. So you just gotta step up into the Norse realm. Do some I don't know, follow tier.
Yeah.
There are a lot of bands who do a lot of Norse
Yeah.
mythology
Exactly.
based music, so we wanted to be a little bit more out of the box and tackle something that wasn't such a prolific subject.
Yeah, there's like 3 bands in Pittsburgh that touch on those topics, and they're played out, honestly. The music and stuff is fine, but I mean, you can only talk about the same 5 Thor stories, honestly. Not trying to be hateful to those bands. They're awesome, but
Amon Amarth has done it all at this point.
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
even they've taken to going to the concept album route. If you listen to the newest one, Jom's Viking, I'll probably play something off of it later. It was pretty enjoyable. But I dig it. I love mythology. I love there's some great stories to tell. I'm going to start off at the beginning of the album. But first, I got something to play. I got the song for the top of the hour. We're about 10 minutes late, but this is going to be my cover song for the hour. This is The Evil That Men Do by Powerwolf, originally by Iron Maiden. So stay tuned. We're going to have tartar sauce in here all evening. And eventually, we're probably going to give away some tickets to see Kveller Talk this Friday at the Altar Bar. So stay tuned. Alrighty, and welcome back to the currently Untitled Metal Show here on 91.9 FM. What you just heard in reverse order, we had 316L Grade Surgical Steel by Carcass. I lost my track. Where was I playing stuff from before that? Oh, yeah, from the CD. And we had before that we had some Tartarus. We played Archetypal Dream. Would you anyone like to talk about that song at all? What's it about? Some lyrical content, composition.
Yeah. So basically, I just wrote that song based on the concept of this really weird dream that I had. And, yeah, that's it, man.
That's it? What was the dream of?
I can't really talk about that because it's personal. And,
Gotcha.
yeah, it's something that I won't, go into. But dreams and archetypes are something that are symbolically important and incorporating into your art and music, and that's what they're there for. So why not? Why not write a song about that?
Inspiration comes from dreams.
Yeah,
I can roll with that. But composition wise, at least the music, guitar, bass, drums, anything in particular about this song you like? Do you play it live?
Oh, a lot, yeah. Too much,
I'm so
actually.
sick of playing this
I
song.
love playing every single song.
It's a good opener. It really is. It's a ripper, but you play it so many times, and then it just gets routine, and it doesn't have to you, it doesn't have the same edge anymore. Like if we didn't play it for a couple of shows and then we played it again, I'm sure we'd be like, oh man,
yeah, because we used to play Moors all the time, and because that was the only thing we had going, and we haven't played that in a while, ever since we released the full length. And at our album release show, we're like, let's play Moors again. And
I forgot how heavy that song was.
It was so much fun. You just revisit it, and it's it's fun. But yeah, if you overplay something, just if you listen to a song a dozen times, it loses that impact.
It's just a really straightforward song, and that's why, it's just good.
It has the beginning and the end, they contrast nicely, and I think that's why, that's one of my favorite ones to play. And it's just an awesome way to start out a set.
Yeah.
It's has some groovy riffs, it has some thrash riffs.
It's a good,
It's good.
It's
Vader.
good? Is it good?
Vader.
It's good.
Attach everyone on it. Sitting there and waiting for the...
It rustles out the jimmies for the show.
It rustles the
jimmies. Any tension, that song pretty much just...
The jimmies are rustled.
Yeah, the jimmies are gone.
And the jimmies are gone.
Oh,
in
we are
the middle
not...
of the song, there's a part where Ben is playing a part, and I'm playing the counter melody to that part, and it's just a really cool part. Every time I play it, I'm like, oh, yeah.
I think there is a lot of that, especially bass. We do some intricate stuff.
The bass is cool.
We do some intricate stuff, and there's definitely communication between Ben's part, my part, Mayor's part. There's some
anytime that we're practicing or something like that, and we're going over some new material and stuff, and we're just jamming on a riff for a while, and Brian's coming up with some new stuff, and then Mayor will just be in the back tinkering with something, and then usually me or Brian will both just be like, wait, what was that? What was that 2 minutes ago that you played? Because it was really cool, and she always somehow remembers it, and it's just accents the riff like really nice.
Nice. I can't write a riff and then repeat it. It's like, oh, sweet, that was awesome. How do I play? I wasn't hitting that note, was I?
That's me. That's me.
Completely
It frustrates them all the time because I'm like, oh yeah, I got like these 3 or 4 riffs I want to work on, and then I'm like, sit down, and then it's like, yeah, let's go over some old stuff because I don't remember anything.
Awesome.
That's why I write everything. That's why I write everything down. But then whenever we're going off what I wrote, usually it's a counter melody, so I play it, and Ben's like, I don't recognize that at all.
And for the the less musically knowledge folk, what's a counter melody? Can someone explain it?
I don't know what it is.
Do I have to Google it?
It's like it's a. Well, we don't really have any melodies, and the.
We have pretty songs. Don't say that, Brian.
Clarissa's voice is beautiful. It carries the melody so well. But there's a counter melody. Say like Ben uses a lot of like double stops, which are really small chords, and there are some. He moves those around a good bit, and Marilyn's bass part does not follow what Ben does. And
It's
that's
a counterpoint bass.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where it's like, because a lot of times you hear music where the bass and the guitar riff are just like locked in this thing for the whole entire song. But I think there's a lot more harmony, and Marilyn's doing her own thing, Ben's doing his own thing, but it still makes sense.
Like sometimes I'll be doing like an ascending riff, and she'll be doing a complementary descending riff on bass, and it like what I was trying to do with the guitar, like the feel that I was trying to do. She like picks up the bottom end and like really creates, like if I'm going for more of like a dreamy or like harsh or something big or like a very minute sound, the guitar can only do so much, and if the bass is following the guitar, you're not really getting that entire soundscape that you were planning.
Yeah, and if Ben were to play a certain number of repeats of one riff, I can change the sound of that riff by just changing what I play, which is, it's kind of basic, but I think it's something that's taken for granted.
It's basic.
With 2 S's. I'll allow puns, no memes. No memes.
I'm a pun master. Better watch out. I have some pretty good dad jokes, too.
Oh my god. I hate dad jokes.
Are we doing dad jokes with Brian?
No.
Can we make that a segment?
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Jokes with Brian.
I have to think of some.
All right. While you're working on that, come up with your best, worst dad joke, or pun, or both. I want all of them. But before we get into your comical stylings, you talked about writing music. How do you guys go about that? Do you write all at once or together, or do you just kind of jam on your own and say, hey, I got this awesome riff, I want you guys to check it out?
It really sucks because you can't whenever we get asked this question, any of us, you can't say like, oh, I write the songs. Like I write the guitar parts, Mary writes the bass parts, Brian does the drum parts, but they also, like, everybody also contributes. Like she'll come up with like a riff in her head, even though she can't play an instrument, and she'll just kind of like sing it out, and then we'll copy it. Or like Meryl will have like a bass riff, and she'll be like, I'm thinking that the guitar would do something like this, and so it just kind of goes about that. And Brian does the same things, but he can play, so if he can't sing it, he'll usually just grab my guitar and show me like, I was thinking something like this. But usually I'll come in with like the song skeletons, and I'll say, this is kind of what I got going on. Do you guys, what do you think of this riff? And we'll jam on a riff and just mold it to what everyone's ideas are. And sometimes it changes the riff drastically, and sometimes it doesn't change it at all.
So that's worked out. Does most of these songs on your debut full length? How were these all written? Were these all done like together in your jam space, or on your own? Is there any specific one that any of you may have had a particularly large part on? Or
they usually always all those songs and the songs on the EP usually would start out where I'd walk in with 4 or 5, between like 3 and 5 riffs, and be like, this is what I got. They kind of all work together because I'll record myself jamming at home, and then I'll just kind of like go on Audacity and like cut that up into something that makes somewhat kind of sense, and I'll take it in there, and then we'll hash it out with everybody else. And sometimes we get it done in a night, and sometimes it takes, what's that one new one? Took us like 2 months to figure out like a way that would actually make it sound good to complete. So everybody has their own say, but that's usually how it starts off, where I'll come in with like 3 or 4 riffs and be like, this is what I got so far.
All right, so the songs all start with the riff.
Yes. The power of the riff compels me.
Lord of the riff.
I can appreciate that. So I'm going to be playing pretty much every song off this album at some point. Cool. Probably in order. The next one I have lined up is ... And the Sun Shall Kneel. Yeah. Is there anything in particular you'd like to say on this one to preface before we go into it?
Yes. I think this was one of... Now, this is a songwriting thing. It was... this was done in just a few hours in the practice space.
Oh, yeah, I do remember
because it was like right after a show, and we wanted to write some new stuff because we were planning on putting out a full length. And I wanted, like, a fast one. Let's just do this dumb black metal fast song.
Stupid.
And it just, like, it was one of those tunes that just happened. You know, like, real quick. It was in one session, if I recall. Maybe some tweakages.
Yeah, it was pretty much one session, one night.
And, yeah, I think...
Yeah, we're just like, we just want a black metal song.
Yeah, because I already had that. That's like the only song on the album that I wrote the lyrics for, and so I already had those and whatnot. And so I was just like, hey... You know, if you can't think of anything, we can just use these ones, and that's what we agreed on. And yeah, it was pretty much done. Like, it was cool. It was a fast one.
It's just a black metal. We just wanted a black metal song that rustles jimmies.
Jimmies were rustled.
No, away from the memes. Get away. Stop. None of that. But since you wrote the lyrics, maybe you can answer it. What is the lyrical content about?
It's about the origin tale of Mithras and the Mithraic cult in Rome. Roman mythology is more my bag rather than it is. She's more into the Egyptian and Greek stuff, but I'm an archaeologist, so that's where my specification is going to be. And it's like not very well known. Like, they don't know a lot about it. These underground like altars pretty much are all over Rome and stuff, but there's almost nothing known about this specific cult. But what they do know from a few of the inscriptions and stuff is that Mithras was basically born out of stone, and a few theories are that basically chasing a cosmic bull. You know, it sounds like a cool band name, but you know, and he kills the bull, and from the blood of the bull, the universe is born. So basically, it's a universe Big Bang kind of thing, and it was really like the sun bowed to him after that happened, pretty much. And I'm summarizing it to an inappropriate degree, but that's pretty much the gist of the song.
Awesome. Well, here it is. This is "And the Sun Shall Kneel" by Tartarus. We're going to be playing some Behemoth, some Persephone, some other stuff. The Behemoth request, I saw you jump. That was actually a request from Brandon, so shout out to him.
Yeah.
Welcome back. It is 8:02. You're listening to 91.9 FM, WCAL, California, Pennsylvania. I'm your host, Zach. This is the currently Untitled Metal Show. I'm joined in the studio today by Tartarus. For those who are just tuning in, why don't you introduce yourselves, say who you are, what you do, what you play. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Don't rush to the mic.
How you doing?
Yeah, I'm Clarissa, and I am the vocalist. I yell into a microphone.
I'm Ben, and I'm the guitarist. What's going on?
I'm Hirokin, and yes, I'm using my pseudonym, and I play bass.
I'm Brian. I hit things.
Anything specific? Drums, people, children?
I was gonna say people, but
Orphans.
circles.
Gingers.
It's circles.
Just for the reference, because they out there in Radio Land can't see you joking.
I play drums.
He doesn't actually, sound that way.
You gotta test
You
that.
actually don't have that accent.
But I do.
You busting out the Bill Clinton accent now.
Oh,
That's what
God.
I'm picking up on.
Yeah.
So,
Ziltoid for president.
yes, Ziltoid for president. We'll get we'll put the off mic comment on because that is an important one. I'll play some Devin for you later.
Yeah.
But if you've been tuned in for a while, we had in reverse order "Light My Fire" by Amorphous for our cover song for the hour. That was originally by The Doors. Some of you were enjoying that. Do you have any comments on that one?
Them keys, man.
That just it takes itself seriously, and then when that keyboard comes in, I'm like, yeah, this is cheeky.
It's they use their keyboard so well, and it's just so off in that song. It's such against everything else going on. Before that, we had Persephone with Kusanagi. Before that, we had Behemoth with "O Father, O Satan, O Son." That was a request by DJ Benevolent Brandon. And we started off with some Tartarus material, "And the Sun Shall Kneel." But let's see. I got other questions, but I'm also really losing track of what my thoughts. So let's jump into some of the ones I have here. You mentioned them earlier off air. I'd like to get the comments on air. You all have pseudonyms. You all have nicknames that you play under. They're all listed in the album. You want to talk about that?
Sure.
Anything in particular? Why did you choose your name? Was it given to you? Does it have a certain significance?
It was given to me by some ancient Egyptian shaman
In the desert.
in the desert
With Jim Morrison.
with Jim Morrison during an eclipse.
On a horse with no name.
Right. Sure. On a camel with no name. No, the reason why we came to like a consensus of why we should do it. I mean, it's a tacky black metal cliche to have, those type of stage names of
Euronymous.
yeah, so on and so forth. But
First name to come to mind.
right. I mean, it's a very common thing in black metal. But the reason why we decided to do it was because just for privacy issues, it's always like weird seeing like your full name pop up on a website, and like it's like, oh great, now people know I'm Italian. Like I don't like that. I don't like.
Is that real? I'm Italian. I love being Italian.
I don't like
Loud
people
and
knowing.
proud.
Loud and proud.
Loud and
I don't like
proud.
people knowing I'm Italian. No, but it's
Even
like,
though you're announcing it on the air.
yeah. Well, now you guys know. You guys know my secret. But no, it's really, it's really weird seeing your name, like full name, pop up on a blog, and we were like, that way we can kind of be a little secret about it and have more privacy about who we are. But it completely like. The whole purpose got defeated because like people still use our full names, like
The French.
the French still use my name drop my name. But and we brought up another point, being that there are two females in the band. Obviously, it's kind of a good cover because we don't want the focus to be on like there being females and that being our
Yeah, people just like dial in on that, and it's just like, oh, well, let's just you should like this band. It's both ends of the spectrum. It's like you get the dudes that like focus in on that just because it's like, oh man, chicks playing metal, that's like super
chicks
hot and stuff. And then you
metal,
also
it's hot.
get like people on the other side of the spectrum that like by just like make too big of a deal out of it,
Yeah, or there's some people that aren't into it for some reason.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's really weird that some people are like, oh my god, I don't listen to females.
Yeah,
in
exactly.
band," which is weird.
We posted one of our songs on Reddit, and like there was a dude that commented on it, and he was just like, "Oh wait, that's a chick." I like usually hate metal with female vocals, and I'm just like, well,
What's the
how can you
difference?
tell? If you can't tell, why does it matter? Like, if it really bothers you that much, dude, like, come on, man.
If you're that sexually confused,
Yeah.
like,
Sounds like you got some issues,
it's
dude.
okay. we're here. We're here to talk about that.
bringing the real issues out.
Let's bring the real issues out.
It doesn't matter. Like in my opinion, if you're just a good musician, you're a good musician.
That's it, man.
Who cares?
Yeah.
I just want to be a person.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's what it comes down to. And a lot of people make a big deal about it, but I mean, we're from Pittsburgh. Bands like Dirketa have been around, and like Mythic with females in them, and to me they're like big deals to me, and I look up to those
severely
people.
Underrated big deals.
Yeah, severely underrated, which is unfortunate, and I think it comes back to like the female thing.
Yeah.
It may have been an issue back then, but I mean, I don't know. I don't care. I don't pay attention to any of that stuff because in my own little world, I don't go around thinking of myself as like
You guys
I'm
you're not a female-fronted metal band.
No.
You don't
no.
throw that label on there.
And it's really messed up because we even have to like think about that a lot. Like when we take promo pictures and stuff like that. Like it's like the orientation of like who's next to who and who's farther out and stuff. That's why we usually just all stand in a line because you don't want to be like one of those bands like Arch Enemy, for instance. Like they went from one female vocalist to another female vocalist.
Let me note that a female vocalist that should not even be in Angela's
like it was
place.
very obvious that it was a cop out for another female vocalist instead of just picking a good
proper
vocalist.
Yeah.
So I take you don't like Alyssa then?
Not at all.
No?
No. I am like Angela was my like everything when I was like
hater.
Gender hater? No, Angela was my everything when I was like 13, and like just Angela's personality and everything about her was Arch Enemy, and just like in general, Alyssa is very out of place in that band, and I just don't. It's my personal opinion. Like, good for her, whatever. But I feel like there should have been a better person to take Angela's place.
Does it make you feel any better knowing that Angela is the one who picked her?
No, I know. That's like what I was heartbroken. I was really mad. I was mad that she left, and then I was mad that she had somebody replace her like that. I don't know. It was probably like a spur of the moment thing. I don't know. It's my opinion.
Yeah.
But
I never followed Arch Enemy too much, but
Yeah.
I do know that little bit. We've got 3 other people with 3 other nicknames here.
yeah.
So my pseudonym Huracan comes from a giantess in the Eddas who, I think it was one of the other gods. They prepared his funeral boat and she shoved it into the water.
Any particular reason you picked it, or was it given to you?
It wasn't given to me. I picked it, and I think it was because I just had to come up with something, and it couldn't be lame.
I'd like to think that I follow some various, mythologies, and it's not a name that I could even pronounce or knew where to look. I guess it has some Norse. What's the word I'm looking for? Not lineage. History? Ties. It's tied Norse
Yeah.
mythology. I'm losing my words. Two others. Which one of you's which?
I picked mine because I was I was in high school and in my old black metal band Vitandus with Sam Destroyer Schroyer. Yeah, shout out to that babe. We both he thought they were stupid, and I thought they were like the coolest thing in the world at the time because all the bands that I was listening to had pseudonyms, so I was just like
Madonna, Prince.
Yeah.
I mean,
MC Hammer, and I was just it's Imperator is Latin for just emperor or ruler, pretty much. And since I was the front man and the only guitarist for that band, I was ego trip, really huge ego trip, and I was just like, whoa, I wonder what is the Latin base of this word, and I just looked it up, and it was basically the same thing. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It was just an ego trip for me, and it just stuck because Metal Archives is a thing. So
It's real.
yeah.
All right, so that must mean you're conspiratist.
I am.
I'm curious about this one.
Originally there were like, I think there were two different ones. Well, just one other one. There was conspiratist, and I think it was like Stygian or something.
Yeah, Stygian.
Which is like it's a dark thing. I don't even know the definition of it anymore. But
from the Iced Earth song.
let me think. Conspiratist. I don't know. I've always been one. I guess trying to think of the name. I think I was the last one to come get my name out there. I've never done anything like that before. And I wanted a name that sounded cool, looked cool, I guess, but also kind of meant something. Personally, I like conspiracy theories. I like reading up on all that wacky stuff. But darn, I think that's
You
it.
can say damn.
Oh, I can say that. Beaver dams.
Oh,
Damn.
You have unlocked one sphere.
I think
Achievement
yeah.
unlocked.
as far as if it's some deep, dark, internal secret why I picked conspiratist to be my name, I don't think there is.
You're
I
the
just
one
think it sounds cool. I like conspiracy.
You're the one who conspires.
He's always
Yes.
lurking in the dark.
Lurking in the dark.
Lurking in the dark, man.
Lurking on the
Leahy.
4chan.
On those tan pages of 4chan.
Well, that explains
Cringe.
that explains one thing. Your album was mixed and mastered by Conspiratus. So that was you.
That was yours truly. We're one thing that Ben and Clarissa and Mare have mentioned in other interviews. We've tried to do this thing as do-it-yourself as possible. It's so expensive to go to a studio. It's so expensive to do artwork. You can spend a lot of money doing that stuff. I work at a place. I'm fortunate enough to work at a place where I teach, and there's a very, very small recording studio there. Part of getting my degree from Cal, since we're partnered with Avid, who makes Pro Tools and Pro Tools certified, I uploaded Pro Tools, and I'm, just rocking that studio as much as we can, and trying to, just use it as the medium to get our music out there. But yeah, mixed it, recorded, mixed it, mastered it. So yeah, that's
Did the
pretty much it.
artwork.
Yeah, doodled a little bit on there.
Well,
pretty much
ask about the artwork in a second. So would you say that your time here at Cal in the CMT program has helped you in this band?
Holy
It's two
mackerel!
plugs. It's two plugs.
Plugging and mugging, taking names. Absolutely. I think. Well, as much as I love the major, I have to be honest here because I'm an honest person. They do not teach mixing and engineering in that regard. They teach us about it, but there is no engineering course. A lot of the stuff that I learned, I had to, it was through friends. But a lot of the stuff that I learned was just on my own. Just you got to research it and try it. There have been a lot of long evenings in the studio and a lot of reading and just giving it a whirl. So in that regard, yes, the major helped, but,
They could have done better.
I think so.
Yeah?
Yeah. But, it's still growing. It's still only 5 years old, so.
I think I was in class the other day. I'm in they're teaching a music industry class now, and that was one of the
No
things they
way.
brought up. It brand new to this semester.
Right on.
I
Cool.
skipped all the other music requirements
Yeah.
to get into it.
Oh, nice.
I'm
Good.
not a music student. I've
Yeah.
never taken a music class.
Some of them are grueling. Those HFAs, music-wise, I think some of the faculty has changed, and I don't know who's teaching them now. But some of the HFAs are pretty grueling, though, because it's just like a history class, just with music terminology thrown in there.
Exactly. It's my kind of class. It's my kind of work, and I don't actually have to, prove that I can instrument.
Yeah, yeah. No, that industry class sounds awesome, though.
Not if you actually want to work in the industry. It's very depressing.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Music industry sucks. It is convoluted and corrupt and evil. If for any of you who are like, oh, I want to be a pop star. I want to work with pop stars, and I want to know how the industry works. No, it is horrible. It is disgusting. It is evil. But the class is very fun. The class, I mean, I enjoy it.
Cool.
But that concern just came up the other day. Someone mentioned it. That they don't teach that section.
Yeah.
Of recording.
Yeah, they don't. Hey, it's still growing. I hope that they do. But we'll see what happens.
The major seems to be doing well. Yeah. We've got, 3 of our bands from Menneson are playing there. So there's got to be some good talent. Oh. And these are just from metal bands. There's a ton of other good bands coming out of Cal.
Absolutely.
I know you said your brother, he just did his recital the other day?
Yeah. A few weeks ago, he did his senior bass recital. He's a bassist. And, he did his final recital.
What did you do for yours?
Well, that's the thing. My last year at Cal was an interesting one. I thought I wasn't going to have a senior recital. And I thought I wasn't going to get to that point, and I was going to have to stay there a little bit longer. But I took a summer to get my act together, and then came in for my last semester. I just kind of wanted to get out of there, and that last fall, I just focused on trying to find a job and trying to market myself. And I knew a senior recital would not get me a job. I could just play for a jury. We have juries there where you just play for the staff. I just thought I could do that and just be done with that performance thing, because I know what I can do. A senior recital for some family and friends, yes, it would be nice, but that's not going to help me get a job. 2 months out of college, I got a job. I wasn't waiting around for anything.
Awesome.
But yeah, no senior recital for me. Jeff kicked butt though. I think he's listening.
Oh
yeah,
shout out to Jeff.
Hi, Jeff.
Shout out to Jeff.
Shout out to my baby. Is
my,
that what you're
my baby bro, Jeff. Hey.
my little baby.
Yeah, jeez. Talk about a kick arse bass player, man. Unbelievable.
Slapping that.
Yeah, slapping.
Slap at a bass.
Slap at the bass.
Needs to join a metal band, get on the lineup.
Yeah, seriously. We were going to try and play Heavy Metal Menneson. There was a battle of the bands just recently here. We're in a little thing.
There was.
We're in a little thing called Red Cult, or the Red Cult, and we have some few. We have a few. We probably have a 20-minute set, half-hour set, or something like that. 4 or 5 songs. But yeah, that's just for fun, doing some rock, and he writes all the music. I just drum. So yeah,
nice. I know. They started doing it a year or 2 ago. I saw it when Andrew Dinger did his senior recital. They actually allowed him to bring Cabaret Runaway in and do it as a full band.
Right on.
And that's how they did it.
Cool.
And I thought that was very cool. And some other people, I think, have done it too recently. So I think the recitals are growing to do more interesting stuff.
Yeah, this is cool. Now that you mention it, Brandon Bonner, if he's listening.
He's doing his.
Wait. He is. I don't want to say too much because he hasn't released anything yet. Or maybe he has. Did you hear he was doing a senior recital?
We may or may not be allowed to talk about that now that I think about it.
He is doing one. But that's all I can say.
DJ Benevolent Brandon will have a senior recital somewhere for graduating.
Who knows when it will be.
It'll probably be official by the time this gets on YouTube.
Yeah. WCAL exclusive.
It'll be an exclusive in, I don't know, a couple more days.
Cool.
But we'll jump off the CMT program for now.
That's fine.
We've talked about it a lot. We're Cal U's radio station. We got to touch on these kind of things when we have the opportunity. Mm-hmm. But you say you're trying to do this as DIY as possible. Yeah. Is there any part of that each of you specialize in, or is it just kind of like everyone does a little bit, or
everybody does? I mean, we all work together.
I criticize.
You criticize?
Yeah, and I make stupid T-shirts.
I proofread.
You proofread? So are you the one who goes on and checks the Facebook stuff? It's like, you misspelled that in the status, and now you made us look stupid.
Yeah, Brian.
I just avoid social media myself. I let Clarissa and Ben speak on behalf of the band, but...
yeah, that's a bad decision. Because
Well,
I don't take that
think
seriously.
I think letting me speak on behalf of the band is an even worse decision. Because I'm
promise.
like not that eloquent, or I'm like overly eloquent and formal on social media, and it just like I don't know. Hello, fellow kids.
I promise to hand out jars of bees at our album debut release, and yeah, I couldn't find any bees, nor had enough jars if there were bees.
I couldn't.
You need a jar of M&Ms, but only the brown ones.
Only the brown.
Yes, there's a cool story to that if you don't know.
Yeah, it's the rider, right? Safety
Yeah.
standards.
Yeah, safety standards.
Yeah, man.
If they didn't get it, then someone didn't read the rider all the way through, and I guess the show wouldn't happen.
Oh.
It's a Van
Yeah, it's
Halen
for the
thing.
roadies and stuff like that.
It was
To make
cool.
sure they were.
It's a cool thing.
There's something ridiculous in. If you get it,
Mhm.
fun. But we've been talking for a while, so I'm going to jump back into some music, which means we're going to play one of your songs.
Cool.
We have up next on the album, Execration of Set. Anything you want to say to preface this?
It's a cool song about execration magic, and it was on the EP.
Yeah, it was on the EP.
Yeah,
We
and
redid it.
We redid it.
You redid it? Anything? What's all different from the version on there?
A small
Mm.
drum fill, actually.
And a small drum
like
fill.
the drum pattern is just a little bit different during the one thing. On the EP, there was like a gallop, but this one it's just kind of like a more blasty kind of thing. But I think that's and we sped it up.
And
Yeah, a
I
little
just throw in a Tom G. Ooh, and that's the only difference.
The Tom G. Ooh.
My Lord and Savior.
But they were
Tom
really adamant about redoing that one specifically for those two parts. Out of all the songs on the EP, it just had to be that one.
G. Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
So, if it was good enough to re-record, is it something we're going to see in the live show, or is it something you don't put on the set too often?
We used to play it a lot.
We used to play it a lot because it was, like I said, it was the only song that we had at the time, out of 5 songs, you know. But I love the song, but everybody else, I don't know. It's kind of
Yeah, I do.
Ben doesn't like it.
It's a little bit boring for me to play, honestly.
I am.
It's a little bit
I like
boring.
playing it live, but
There's that one section, like the Dark Throny section,
It rules.
and the section right after that. Really like those parts.
Oh, yeah.
The rest of it, it's still a good song. I mean,
Ben just
I can't complain too much. I helped write it, so
Right.
But
Yeah.
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 It's a ripper.
Awesome. Well, you're listening to 91.9 FM. This is Tartarus with Execration of Set. So stay tuned, and we'll be bringing them back in, I don't know, a little bit. I just got to play more music. And welcome back to the currently Untitled Metal Show here on 91.9 FM at WCAL. I'm your host, Zach, playing my favorite hard rock and heavy metal. We are also joined in the studio by Tartarus.
Hey.
Welcome.
Hi.
As my microphone falls.
Hi.
If you've been tuned in for a while, what you just heard, we had two Fallujah songs, including one of the new ones, "The Void Alone," off of the upcoming album. I want to say, is it Dreamless? The new Fallujah album. I can't remember what it's going to be called. I played "The Void Alone," which is the first song off of it. Before that, we had "The Night Reveals" by Fallujah, "Circle of Death" by Deathlehem, "Travel of Stygian" by Iced Earth, because the topic came up. And where was it? And we played "Execration of Set" by Tartarus.
Yay.
Who's
Yay.
that?
Boo.
Who's that?
Plug.
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 Oh, they're just a Pittsburgh death metal band, blackened death metal band. They do stuff. They put out an album recently.
We do stunts
You do stunts.
and tricks
And stomps on
and
stage.
They're
stomps.
all our own.
And bulges.
And we do bulges
And bleaches.
Bleaches. And bleachers.
and bleach.
Nothing like a good bleacher workout.
Nothing like a good bleacher.
These people have no idea what we're talking about.
Good.
They don't need to.
They don't.
But what was I gonna say? Yes, we got a caller. And they gave me a question. They wanted to ask. They so desperately wanted you guys to know. So desperately wanted to know. This is from Ryan from Bethel Park, and he wanted to know Cheerios, SpaghettiOs, Oreos, or crystal meth.
70s bulges.
Is that the answer to this question?
Yes.
Her answer to that question.
question, though.
So what is
That's
it?
a freaky question.
Can you read the question again, babe?
Cheerios, SpaghettiOs, Oreos, or crystal meth?
I already gave my answer.
I like SpaghettiOs. I don't care what anybody says.
I like them too.
Seriously, I will mess up a can of SpaghettiOs.
I will mess up a can of SpaghettiOs as well.
Although I do like Oreos, but like, I don't know.
I also care about my health too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
With
Well,
all
then
three options.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
It doesn't specify whether the Oreos come with milk or not, which I think should be the breaker for me.
yeah,
Because SpaghettiOs I can have alone. Oreos without milk get a little boring after a while.
they do.
Yeah.
And then it gets all like caked in your teeth.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And Cheerios, they need milk.
Yeah.
They're not Honey Nut. They're,
Yeah.
Yeah, he
No-
didn't. They did
nobody
not specify.
specified.
Yep. If they were Honey Nut Cheerios,
Drop
though,
the ball.
I
Yeah.
That would
just
be
like
my
dry.
like
Not even
add
any
it.
milk. Dry.
I like regular Cheerios with honey. Almond
Oh,
milk
just
and honey.
pudding? Wait, what?
Oh, you do it manual.
Dude,
You
that
do it
sounds-
manual. Okay.
Do it manual. That sounds amazing.
It is amazing.
Oh my
Yeah.
god,
Yeah.
you just blew my mind.
You're learning things.
I'm so excited.
Learned it up.
Heavy metal and,
Cheerios.
breakfast life hacks. Although, crystal meth does make a very good argument with my addiction. So,
I got.
Stop it. What are you doing? Stop it. No, don't do
Stop
that.
I gotta
scratching.
say, it
Stop
does
scratching.
make your
not a
teeth fall
problem.
out, and you kind of need those to eat with. So
You don't need those to eat SpaghettiOs, though.
that
You
is
just suck
true.
them through a straw.
I mean, with milk, you could just let the Cheerios and Oreos get real soggy.
And then
Oh.
throw the SpaghettiOs in and get some texture.
Put it all in a blender.
And you're going to be eating that all together because you're doing crystal meth.
Baby girl.
paper girl.
see, we had this is from Ryan from Bethel Park. He so desperately wanted to know. So I
Yeah.
told him I'd ask
know
you
it's
guys live
Ryan.
on air.
Yeah,
I know
cool.
which Ryan.
You know which Ryan?
Yeah, I do. Well, I know his last name, Ryan.
Oh.
Ryan.
deliver a pizza. I didn't say. Don't worry. I said, go deliver a pizza, Ryan.
Does Ryan deliver pizza?
He does deliver pizza.
Is it good pizza?
It's fantastic pizza.
Oh, well.
Favorite pizza topping?
Go.
Go, Zach. Go.
Cheese.
It's
We're
you.
Cheese? That's
doing the
Plain
interview now.
Pizza. Plain pizza. Regular
I mean, that's
cheese pizza.
solid.
If you
I
screw
mean,
that
I
up,
feel like
you can't make pizza.
I feel like you're
Yep.
just playing it safe. I think you have to live a little.
I don't think you want to offend someone by just saying
Yeah,
cheese.
maybe.
I might get triggered, if you know what I mean.
Are you really going to get triggered over like pepperoni and bacon or, I don't know, crystal meth? Again, it's coming back.
I like mushrooms on my
I
pizza.
like mushrooms.
I will
as
eat
well.
anything on a pizza.
Yeah,
pineapple.
you can't go wrong with classic pepperoni. Except you, because
Oh.
you hate yourself, so you're a vegan.
I discovered that I like artichokes on pizza.
They aren't bad.
They're good.
Trader Joe's has a prosciutto pizza, and it's amazing. Prosciutto.
You should throw some Andrew WK on your set list, man.
Because we like to party.
We like to
We
party.
also like to pizza.
Pizza party.
Oh my
Pizza
god,
party
there it is.
hard.
You're all getting cut off. You're all done.
Oh,
No, I'll let you come back. We got questions to ask. We can divulge into pepperoni pizza versus prosciutto versus bacon later.
yes, this is
We
true.
can all talk about our crystal meth addiction later.
Oh,
do the
crystal
music.
meth?
Let's do the music. Focus on the metal. Come on, guys.
Focus on the metal. So, but you guys got some shows coming up. Got to plug them.
Yeah,
so
let's
if
plug
if-
that.
if you like what you've heard when we play it, where can they see you guys? Where are you playing next?
So we're opening for Absu the 22nd. Yeah.
Yeah, because this says the 23rd.
Oh yeah. At the
Yeah, and it's the night
Smiling
before.
at the Smiling Moose.
Happy Moose.
That's gonna be awesome. Really excited.
So, done by a really great Pittsburgh promoter too.
Yeah.
You get some.
Mr.
Yeah.
Chris Woodford.
Winter Forge Productions, isn't he?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not too familiar with
Chrissy Wood.
Absu. What are they like?
So-
Oh, my God. Oh,
What are they like, sir?
they're down from Texas.
Down from Texas. And yeah, black metal band.
Like, they're pretty old now, right?
Yeah, they've been around for a while.
Drummer's
They're
the
awesome.
vocalist.
Yeah, he's great. He's
Oh,
fun live.
fantastic drummer.
Yeah. They played at the shop. I want to say back in 2013, and that was a good time.
I'm not 100% sure, but I saw them at Smalls, and I'm pretty sure they opened up for Immortal.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It was-
it had to be. Yeah,
it
because I
was-
almost got frostbite that show. Yeah. No pun intended. Literally almost got frostbite on my feet. Yeah, they opened up for Immortal, and they killed it, man. Killed it.
Yeah.
Really good.
So that'll be really, really awesome.
And then the next day,
The next day.
Plug!
heavy metal Minescent plug.
Yo.
Double
Plug.
Plugs and butts.
Plugs.
All of them. We're going on. Is this like an order?
No.
No.
Not at all.
So-
Going on at like 4:30
Fourth.
or something.
Won't you be at work?
No, I'm off that day.
I would hope so.
I think I work till like 3:30.
Get outta
It's
here.
going to be cutting it close. He can only give one of us the day off. Yeah.
No,
I'll
good.
be there.
We'll be good, yeah.
Yeah.
No,
yeah,
I'll be
we're going to be on the bill at some point
I was like,
with
what?
some cool bands.
I mean, even I have to look up the actual set times if we're going to get that detailed. I know you guys are playing in the afternoon at some point.
Come
Probably
early,
somewhere in
see
middle
all
of
the
show.
bands.
Yeah.
Yeah,
show
come
up.
early,
Just
see all the
see
bands.
everyone.
Yeah.
Just have fun.
Show
And then
up.
hang out in the parking lot. Is there a
Let's-
parking lot?
Oh, it's
There's a couple parking lots.
Is there a
Let's
parking lot? It'll be
drink
like
some-
heavy metal parking lot Minescent.
Let's just drink some adult beverages and hang out.
Not in the park, but close to it.
Yeah.
And
Not under my watchful eye.
Not under his watchful eye.
But close to it.
We will hide.
We will hide.
Yeah, it's
That's
gonna be awesome.
There's
It's
a
going to be a good show.
There's a tank in the park too, an old World War II
Like
tank.
an actual tank?
right
Yeah,
on.
a World War II tank.
Band picks,
Swag.
Yeah.
guys.
Everyone's getting banned.
Can I drink adult beverages in the tank?
You can't actually get in the tank. It is welded shut.
And the tank is in the park.
And I
So
know that
you-
for a fact
Says
because
you.
No,
I can attempt to get into that tank.
Did you attempt to get into the tank?
I was going to say I know this for a fact because last year we discovered there was a tank, and tried to get inside. We may or may not have tried to get in the hatch.
Dibs on straddling the gun. Called
You
it.
would like to
I
straddle.
want to feel the thunder
a
between my
gun.
thighs.
But yeah, if seeing these guys is not enough of a reason to come out, you can also get cool band picks with a freshly painted World War II tank.
Yeah.
It was
Indeed.
fresh last
Oh,
year.
fresh. Nice.
It was nice and redone recently, I guess. Recently enough. It's a tank.
I hope nobody tagged it, and that's why they had to repaint it. That would be upsetting.
Don't tag things. Don't do that. That's mean. If
Exactly.
you're gonna do it to buildings that you don't like, the ones that are being torn down. But some other important, you got shows coming up. Your 22nd, 23rd,
Yeah.
a lot coming up. Then you had a release show for your new album. Want to talk about that? How'd it go?
Sure. It was awesome. We played, with our friends and Cruces and Nolam, and it was such a fun time. And it was so cool just playing show with our friends, and everybody was just enjoying themselves. And it was a really good turnout, and the sound was good at the shop for a change. So that was cool.
Yeah.
So
Thanks, Mr. Jonathan K, for holy mackerel, saving our butts here. I think it was I've never been to the shop before.
I've been to the shop. Or not the shop.
Oh,
What
Rock
am I
Room,
saying?
Rock Room.
Wrong DIY venue. It was at the Rock Room.
Yeah.
I'm running on 2 hours of sleep. I'm sorry.
We were, the speakers are a mess at that place, but Jonathan and I, really dialed in some good stuff. A little bit quiet, but
It's the Rock Room.
we do it yourself. Everything at that place is do it yourself.
Yeah.
So.
It's
They
the Rock
made the
Room.
most out of what they had available.
Yeah.
But it's a successful release.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
successful.
Holy mackerel,
It was
yeah, it was
really cool.
And now that I have my hands on a copy, it looks very well put together. You mentioned that you did the art
Yes.
for it.
The front and the back and the innards, yes, and then Clarissa did the CD. There's an image on this, the actual physical CD and the player as well.
It's
Yeah.
in the CD player. I can't
It
look
is.
at that right
Yeah.
now.
Okay.
But what is this supposed to be on the front?
SpaghettiOs.
Yeah.
Speaking
Bowie
of crystal
bulge.
meth,
David Bowie's bulge.
Precisely.
Precisely.
but what is this, Brian?
Great question. I think it was one of those things where it's subliminal. I just went with whatever I felt was cool, and maybe somewhere in my subconscious that I knew what I was doing, but I just thought it would be really cool. Kind of playing on some of the different entities Clarissa has written about and been written about,
Is this face of anyone in particular?
No, I'm not good at portraits, so that's why there's only half a face.
It's actually Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah, it's Jeff Goldblum. Jeff Goldblum, we trust.
Oh, I thought that was Jeff Goldblum.
It's
It's
other
all
face.
Goldblum.
Yeah.
It's actually all gold.
The three forms, the trinity of Jeff.
It's the three formation.
Like I don't want to sound uppity saying it, but like, without like, there's no real specific meaning to the artwork. It just like whenever you look at it and then you listen to the album, it's
fitting.
fits. Yeah, regardless of what you want to take away from it, there's certain elements to it that are in the songs and stuff like that, but without being like, oh yeah, this is like that one song. This is the second half of song C. We just like drew that. It's not like that, and I think that's why it's a lot better because you can interpret it for what. I'd love to get a poster of it. Honestly, I think it's so
that'd be
cool.
No, that'd be cool.
With of the whole thing, keep it in your. You'll get flags made. I
Some
love
banners.
flags and banners
I was planning on doing something like that, but that's still in the works.
and money. But,
Yeah, exactly.
I dug it out of the CD player. We now have the art on top of the CD. See a man holding a staff. The staff's got a scarab on it. He's got a snake curling around him. What inspired this art, since you were the artist for it?
There's like a lot of kind of esoteric symbolism, I guess we can say. And yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of different things just like meshed into that one image. We got it's basically it's just basically embodying kind of like I'm not.
If you don't have a deep
to
answer
say.
for it, if it's just
Wasn't
supposed to be a
No,
badass drawing,
No.
it can-
There's
Wasn't
a lot
it-
of meaning to it.
Wasn't it supposed to be like a subversion of the Vitruvian Man?
Kind of. Well, there's
Okay.
one aspect to that. That's what I mean. There's like so many different things. Like Hermes is involved, and like there's a lot of dualism in there, and it's very symbolic.
Has a lot to do with like the
He's-
human spirit.
See, on
Yeah, it has a lot to do with just like a human being. He's like falling apart, but he's also perfect on one side, So there's a lot of dualism going on, and obviously there's some Egyptian symbols in there too.
Yeah, because I see his right arm is at the elbow just crumbling and falling off. But
Yeah.
on his left side, he's got these big angel wings.
Yeah.
And there's a snake wrapping himself around the angel side of him. But it's going up the entire body, up to his head.
Actually, the wings I got from Marduk or just like any Sumerian deity. They're all depicted as winged beings. So I liked incorporating those type of wings into the drawing. I thought that would be really cool. But yeah, that's basically it. And that's basically the concept of this whole album. Is just it's very humane in the sense that exploring the nature of just man, flawed but perfect. That's it.
Well, it's, as far as I've seen, I like to think I've been given a lot of CDs from a lot of people, and this is a very well put together album, especially for someone doing it themselves. From the artwork on the inside, the outside, on the CD itself, it just looks good. It fits. It's very well done. So
Thank you.
We're even going to hand fold them like we did our EPs. We hand folded all of our EPs, but we decided that would have just been too time consuming and whatnot. So that's the only aspect that's not DIY, but
it's not part of the creative
We
process
outsourced it.
anyway.
yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be like sending actual letters out to all the people you're hitting up on Facebook. Like,
Oh, God.
invite to the event, and personally sign their name. Just like, yeah, come on out, man. Put it on their wall
That's
instead.
pretty cool. We should do that.
That's pretty rad.
Yeah. We need addresses.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you want Tartarus to send you stuff, send them your address. Hit them up on Facebook. Send them a message.
And stamps.
And stamps.
Would you have a band camp?
You do have a
We
band
do
camp.
have band
Yes.
camp.
Yes.
All right,
Mayor
so
takes care of the band camp. A lot of the
Yeah, it does need some love right now. I need to update it with our
New
albums
shirts.
and our new shirt.
New shirts.
new shirts.
The shirts have the same artwork as the front of the CD. So if what Zach described it makes sense to you, that's what's on the shirts.
If you actually want to go check it out, it is right on their Bandcamp.
Freak, yes.
You can listen to the album in your own leisure. You can check out the artwork. They've got merch for sale there at Tartarus1, like the number, .bandcamp.com.
Buy our stuff.
If you
Buy our
type
stuff.
support local music, that's what we're gonna say. We're gonna say support local music as a whole. But if you type in Tartarus Pittsburgh, they will come up. That's how I did it.
Yeah, that's the digital download of the new album, but we're going to have physical copies and the new t-shirts, like I said, available decently soon once I get around to giving the Bandcamp some love.
Hopefully within the next 13 days, they will be available to all the fans. Or
And
12 when the next show is.
It's kind of funny whenever I said I was in charge of the proofreading, because we actually have some grammatical mistakes in the inside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I need to find them.
And I dropped the ball. I think I proofread it, and then there were a couple more changes made, and I was like, sure, I guess that's okay.
I thought what happened was that there were two versions. There was the fixed one and then the non-fixed one, and we sent the CD production people.
You know what? That does ring a bell.
Yeah, that's what happened. It was like there's the company we went through. There was it was so involved, like putting it in the template, and then once it's in the template, you have to save it as a PDF, and you can't do anything. And I did everything in Photoshop, and it's kind of there was just a little bit too much, and I probably just forgot to switch it over and make the PDF of the
Whoopsie.
But
Shame on you.
Tomorrow we got some, or hopefully sometime this week, I'm making it a goal to get our second shipment of jewel case versions. This is a digipack version now, but jewel case versions are coming soon.
What's the actual difference? I don't know.
Digipacks are just twofold, simple,
Okay, so
paper and plastic.
Yeah, paper, plastic, more
Artistic looking.
Not they don't break as easy as jewel cases do.
They're bougie.
those are just the traditional plastic ones.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't like those anyway. Who cares?
No, I don't think anybody does.
Yeah.
Everybody always complains about them. I don't mind either way,
Yeah,
but
either way.
that is nice for digipacks because I mean, I it's just so cool to have our everything. Like when I first picked that up, I was like in love. It's just so cool looking.
Mm-hmm.
I dig it. They turned out nice.
Thank you.
Curious to see how it'll turn out in a plastic case, but
Yeah.
probably about the same.
Yeah.
An important part of all bands is the gear they use. Who wants to talk about gear?
Wait, whoa.
I
now.
love
Are we going to be getting sponsorships?
No.
I love. Well, maybe after this interview.
Do you not
Oh,
want to
yeah.
talk? Do you not want to talk about what you play?
No, I will definitely talk about what I play.
I
I just
love
would like to
gear.
get paid to talk about it. No, I'm just kidding.
Someday.
Maybe this will be what it takes. They'll hear it on YouTube, and
Yeah.
they will
Oh,
send
is this
you.
gonna be on YouTube?
If I have the time to put it into a YouTube thing, I will really try to.
Ah, rock hard, bud. Tom, you want to go first?
Who, me?
Yeah, you have more stuff than
Yeah,
me.
sure. Alrighty, so drumming wise, that was a spring there. That was Mr. Leahy talking to me, bud. Drumming wise, I play a Tama kit. I think it's a Star Classic, like a mid-range Tama kit. It's pretty cool. I use Tama pedals, Tama hardware, and just like a variety of cymbals, some Sabian stuff. Few Zildjian Ks, Brondaler. I'm a huge Mastodon fan, so I have a Brondaler hybrid ride, which is awesome. And all these can be heard. All of my cymbals can be heard on the album. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
No
pretty
sampling.
No. Well, there's blended samples on the kick and just a touch on the snare, just to give it a little bit of snap. But everything else is regular processing. And when I say blended, the real kick sound is there. The real snare sound is there. It's like probably 40% on the kick, and then about maybe 50 on the snare. It just kind of sharpens those things up a little bit because that's kind of what you want to pop in metal. But yeah, gear wise, that's what I use.
these springs, though. Ben, you want to talk first? Okay, I guess I'll talk about my gear. So, I play through an Ashdown set of amps. The main one is kind of a amp/head together. It's an electric blue. I forget the model number of it, and then I just have an additional Ashdown cab supplementing that. And then I play 2 basses. They're both LTDs. I have a F405E, I think it is, and that's kind of my favorite one. And then I have a Viper that I sometimes play. I've been playing it lately, but I don't really use any crazy pedals or anything else. It's just kind of basic.
What mics do you use, Clarissa?
I use an AKG microphone.
And your brand of auto-tune.
Yeah.
Auto-tune.
Yeah, AutoZoom.
Auto spoon.
Auto-spoon.
Auto Bulge.
Yeah, I don't know. Ben gave it to me because my other microphone, stopped. It, stopped.
I was looking for it the other day.
It, sounded weird at, I guess, at one of the shows. And I think it's because, I left it in my car when it was, below 0 or something. I was like, yeah.
Gear gore.
That is very black metal.
Yeah.
That should make it sound better.
Yeah, well, I
kept cutting out.
Kept cutting
happened,
out.
yeah.
So Ben just gave me his microphone, an AKG microphone. Yeah, cool.
No longer grim and frostbitten.
No,
No.
it's not.
I loved it. I use Schecter guitars because they're on the cheaper end, and I'd like to get better gear, but I run that through a Mesa Boogie Trip rectifier, and that goes into an orange PPC 4x12 cab. Get a really good tone out of it. I'm still kind of arguing with it until it does what I want it to do. I'm never happy with a tone with it. Like right now I'm running through, I was usually just a straightforward into the amp player, but now I'm just recently been playing with running it through a tube screamer and into the rhythm channel to get a less muddied sound, because the lead channel has a lot of bass on it, and for a while there I thought that was pretty awesome, but then the more we play and the better sound men that we get, and I can hear myself better, the more I'm it kind of gets lost in the mix, so I want something that cuts through a little bit better, and so I'm trying that out right now, and it's starting to sound pretty good. But yeah, that's pretty much the gear that I use until I can get a better guitar.
Awesome. I like Schecters. They're kind of nice.
Yeah, it's very versatile, and whenever I do get a new axe, it'll probably never leave the rotation. It'll always be a backup, but just looking for something new at this point. I've had it for 8-9 years now, and I have an SG at home, but that's my bluesy, jazzy backup. Just fiddle around with at home. I rarely play with that on stage.
You don't play black metal with an SG.
I mean,
at least
it's
I've
got
never seen
horns on it, man. Come on.
It does, but I've still never seen it. Have you ever seen a black or death metal band play with a Gibson or Epiphone SG?
Well, I have not. The SGs have this. They don't have a lot of low end. They kind of have a lot of nasally snap to them. Because I own an SG as well, and I prefer a Les Paul over an SG. Or, anything that's just thicker than an SG. Because they're tiny,
thin.
too.
Yeah, but I appreciate that a little bit more. I like the thinner. Pretty much the only thick guitar that I've ever owned, and I hate that I ever got rid of it, was I had a Fender Made in Mexico Fat Strat with 2 hums, and that guitar was awesome. And I was in middle school, and I sold it to my buddy, and he still has it in his basement, and I know it's just sitting there, and it makes me cry because I want it back bad. So Ryan, if you're listening to this, please give me my guitar back. I love it, and I miss it. Tobacco Sunburst too was a beautiful guitar.
That sounds gorgeous. But been talking for a while. Gonna jump into another song. Next one to come up Prometheus Dionysian, slash. What do you want to say to preface this one?
Yeah.
Yeah? It is a song.
Hit it.
This one's really tough to play live. I hate playing it live.
Really?
Brian.
Kinda.
It's actually I don't know. These two songs in particular, I like Prometheus, but Dionysian is probably it's up there, along with Palatine Hill and
It's a big one.
yeah, I really love Dionysian.
It's a double.
It's my favorite lyrics I think that I've ever written, along with Palatine Hill.
We call it Mountaintop. That's the working title. That's what we call them. When we write our set list down, that's what we call it, because it's just big, massive sounding and stuff like that. And then I think it's Dionysian. One of the riffs I actually ripped off of Robert Plant and used a variation of one of his vocal lines from Achilles' Last Stand and just turned it into a guitar riff, and it actually complemented the song very well. So that I still think that's kind of cool.
Everyone listening at home, see if you can find it.
Yeah.
I want to try and find it. So,
You do that.
But you have so these are two songs. Were they written together or
Yes.
separately?
Yeah. They were written separately.
But they flowed together.
Yeah. What ended up happening was Prometheus is actually a much older song. We could have put it on the EP, but we didn't, just because we weren't super happy with it at the time, and then came in and started jamming on Dionysius and found out that they kind of worked very well together. So even though they weren't technically a part one, part two, we were well, on the album we should run them into each other because it just flows very nicely. So yeah, technically you could do it a War Pigs, Luke's Wall kind of deal going on, but they're not part one, part two.
All right, we'll play them both, and then I definitely have to make sure I get to Palatine Hell, because I don't know. Also says Circus Maximus on it.
Yeah.
And we're running with a theme. I've played 2 things called Circus Maximus already today. I want to make it 3. So stay tuned. We're going to be playing play some Tartarus, come back, talk a little bit. I've got 33 minutes left. So, yeah, stay tuned. And welcome back to the currently Untitled Metal Show here on 91.9 FM WCAL. Cali's best music. I'm your host, Zach. And got Tartarus in the studio still. We got about 18 minutes left of their time. 18 minutes left of my time. What you just heard, we had I guess you heard 3 songs. They're only listed as 2 tracks, but 3 songs from the Tartarus debut full-length album. We had first Prometheus / Dionysian. I should know this. I should know this. I'm named after him. And then Palatine Hill, Circus Maximus. Played that because I played Circus Maximus, the band, earlier. And, I saw that, and I was like, well, I guess I might as well play Circus Maximus by Clutch as well. So, if I knew another Circus Maximus thing, I'd play it as well. But,
Circus Maximus Day.
Is that a thing?
Make it a thing.
Yeah.
It's just all we do is play stuff with that name. But thanks for coming in. I've enjoyed our time. We got another call-in request with possibly one of my favorite questions. This one's directed at you, Ben.
Yeah.
And Texas Senator and real-life Zodiac killer Ted Cruz wants to know, what do you feed your beard?
What do I feed my beard?
What do you feed your beard?
David Bowie.
You feed it David Bowie.
Yeah.
The dead remains
David
of
Bowie's
David
bulge.
Bowie.
The Stardust.
The
The essence of Bowie.
If David Bowie was cremated, then he has to be Stardust now.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not going to disrespect the corpse of the musical legend, but the stardust that is all around us, that is David Bowie, is what feeds my beard. It was actually much longer than this, and then I went to a barbershop and I said, I just want a trim, and they almost shaved me clean.
It's never a trim.
Yeah.
It's never only a trim.
So it was down to here, 3 weeks ago?
He looks completely different.
Yeah. And, but yeah, David Bowie is what keeps the beard strong. R.I.P.
Shed a little tear for David Bowie.
I love you, David
We,
Please
we,
come back to us.
we've shouted out a lot of other bands throughout the night, on air and off. I would like to know, each of you, who are your biggest musical influences? Generic question.
You can't do that.
Yes, I can.
do
Yes, I
that.
can.
It's too big of a question, man.
Yes, I can.
Oh my god.
You
dude.
see where I'm sitting? I got the microphones right here. I got the FCC license is right there. I got my name on the board. I can do that.
Do whatever I want. Just get out. I'll just let you know. I'm going to have to think about this.
I'll go.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Start where you
All
can.
right, we got number one. I have to name a few because it's impossible
Yeah,
to
no,
just
not
name
not
one.
an individual one. Just who are some of them?
Some of them. All right, kind of in chronological order. AC/DC was number one. I always tell this story.
Boy.
Yeah. For like my birthday, my dad gave me an AC/DC If You Want Blood, You Got It Live CD. And it was that one, and a friend gave me a Green Day CD. Chucked the Green Day CD because I didn't like it, and it was like AC/DC ever since. But definitely AC/DC. I was on a huge Zeppelin kick. Queens of the Stone Age, huge influence. Definitely Mastodon. They're probably up there at number one. You know, just all around the early stuff, the crazy spazzo psychotic Mastodon, like Call of the Mastodon era Mastodon, and Remission, of course. Let's see, those guys. As far as like darker, like blacker metal, I really like. I can't say it, but Goat. WH0RE. If I to censor that.
We'll
Yeah.
allow it. That
Yeah.
works.
So those guys are pretty cool. They kind of got me on the blacker kick. And then I like Carpathian Forest a lot. Let me see. Newer bands though, I really like Black Breath, and we just opened for a band called Call of the Void. Newer band.
We opened for Black Breath too.
Yeah, and Goat.
Everybody forgets.
Yeah,
Yes.
the Goaty. We opened for Black Breath.
The goat floor.
The Goat Floor. The boat tour. We opened up for those guys. Yeah, they're cool. Call of the Void is freaking nuts. They're like I go on a week-long kick of like my favorite band. I'm probably going to drop them next week just because it'll get boring. But yeah, they're up there too. They do a lot of Mastodon worship, but it's more of like a hardcore thing. You know, that I'm starting to like appreciate a little bit more about. Yeah, those are the top ones I've been listening to lately, I guess.
Oh, the squeaky mic. I guess since Brian went back to his childhood influences, I would say the first heavy band that I got into was System of a Down, and I think that's the band. No, actually, I think it was Puff Daddy who got me playing bass.
Nice.
This is a story, not a long story, but whenever I was in maybe 5th grade, this other kid brought his bass to school, and he knew how to play the bass line from Bad Boy for Life. You know, the that one. And I thought it was the coolest thing that I had ever heard. So I think I said for every birthday and Christmas, I want a bass guitar. So then finally, I think for my birthday, I got some birthday money. Went out and bought some crappy Fender, $100 bass and a amp. And I was also, let me think, System of a Down. Let me go back to that. That was my favorite band at the time, and I liked playing their songs. I learned quite a few of them. But then the first band that got me into black metal was Wintersorg. They're not really a very popular black metal band, but Wintersorg, I think his name is Andreas Hedlund or Markland or some kind of Lund. He was in Borknagar as a vocalist. And he had some side projects. But then my other influences are early Dimmu Borgir and Vinder. So that's my genealogy there?
All right. Well, I started getting into extreme metal when I was 15, and the bands that before then I listened to a lot of hardcore and some extreme metal, but like 15 was like the defining moment in my life when I fell in love with it completely. It was like Behemoth, Slayer, Cannibal Corpse, Napalm Death, Carcass, Morbid Angel, Deicide. Like all those bands I just fell in love with. And then like 16, I discovered Venom and fell in love with Venom so much. And then, Hellhammer and Celtic Frost and, And as far as like black metal bands and, Blasphemy and Immortal and all the classic black metal bands. Gotta love them. And I'm, fan of Archgoat and all the very raw black metal bands, and like Diocletian's great, and Conqueror, Revenge, all the Ross Bay cult bands rules. But yeah, I have so many influences. I can go on and on. But when I was 15, it was just like, Behemoth, Cannibal Corpse, Slayer, like all Carcass, all those bands were just like meant the world to me, were my everything.
You started jamming when the Carcass came on earlier.
Yeah, Carcass is
I noticed that.
One of my favorite bands ever. I love, favorite death metal bands, the best. So yeah, I mean, I could go on and on, but those are just some name drops.
Oh, this is my turn now.
Yeah.
I'm going to make this as short as possible because I know you probably are trying to move on. But AC/DC definitely for me. They made me. Angus Young made me want to pick up a guitar whenever I was younger, and them and Black Sabbath and Led Zeppelin and stuff like that. And then I was listening to a lot of blues and stuff because my mom and my stepdad and stuff, they listened to like a lot of old school blues and like honestly like folk rock kind of. Like Jim Croce and stuff like that, and so that influenced a lot of my earlier playing. And then middle school came around and got back into hard rock and stuff, and moved on into death metal. And then from death metal, found black metal probably about the late middle school, early junior high, and then just kind of went on from there. There's just too many bands to list off. Deicide was a huge one for me, and as far as like, I honestly listen to a lot of non-metal stuff in order to get influenced by them. Like I listen to a lot of classical music and stuff like that. But a band that I've been digging on for like the last 6 months, and the rest of my bandmates will hate, or actually last year, the rest of my bandmates will hate me because I talk about them all the time. Is this country band called Those Poor Bastards, and like it's just gritty, raw, like just depressing stuff, but it's not heavy in like the traditional sense, but it's just unbelievably heavy. And so that's been kind of influencing me a little bit, but I feel like in order to create something that's, fresh and new, you can't just be listening to, metal bands, because then you'll start to sound like them too much. And there's nothing wrong with emulating bands, but whenever you're just listening to the same bands and being like, oh, that riff sounds cool, I'm going to do this one, I'm going to play this note a little bit different, and then I'm going to call it my own riff. I'm not about that. I feel like you got to get influences from everywhere. Even if it's like, a movie soundtrack or something, like you hear like a little string section, you're like, that sounds cool. And you just remember that and make a guitar riff out of it, tweak it a little bit and make it your own. I appreciate whenever bands do that. So
it's important to take your influences, no matter what they are, even if they aren't musical. The story of Black Sabbath writing Black Sabbath is they wanted to make something that embodied the feel of going to a horror movie. Mm-hmm. They saw people going out, they want to get scared when they go to a movie. Yeah. Why can't we do that with music? Yeah. And they wrote Black Sabbath on a blues album, because the debute's not metal. The first song might be,
they do.
But everything else is not.
They do a cover on it, for God's sakes. I mean, come on now.
Don't talk down on covers.
No, I'm not. Trust me. We were debating about doing a few covers, but like sometimes, especially at that era, in order to get some airplay, you kind of had to do a cover because that's what the people that was going to pay for your record to get made wanted you to do, so you did it, sort of thing. So, yeah, I mean, it worked, obviously.
All right, we are running low on time. I have just enough for one more question. It's spawned by this. If you were to do a cover of one song live, any band, what would it be?
I think we all no.
Unless you have done one, and I just don't know about it.
We all have them in mind because we were planning on each of us picking a cover to do for future EPs. Mine was "I Want to Be Your Dog" by the Stooges.
Oh, I was gonna. I would switch my mind or change my mind every single day.
Literally every single day.
But the one that I was stuck on for the longest time was "Supernaut" by Black Sabbath, and that's just it.
Gonna make a black metal version of the Stooges, some Sabbath. What else?
I never really pinned down what I wanted to do as a cover, but I was playing with the idea of covering "The Chauffeur" by Duran Duran.
Dig it.
You can really blacken that one up.
Yeah.
I honestly don't have one. For me, it's like there might be a few, but until I get down and like pluck through them on guitar or like try and actually write it, I think that'll like sway me the most. Because it's like one thing to think that would sound like cool black, but I don't know. Some of the ones I was thinking about, like "You Shook Me" by Led Zeppelin, that would be a really cool one. But it's like all about the interpretation, Other than that, "Lord of the Depths" by Burzum would be pretty cool, but just sludge it up a little bit more, make it slower because it is kind of a quicker tune. "Return of the Freezing Winds" would be a cool one.
All right, it is coming to the end of the show. It is time for my very last segment for the show. I do it every week. It is Jonathan's Dirty Pick of the Week. For those who don't know, every week my buddy Jonathan, he is the bassist for Existential Gentleman and Only Flesh. He also helps me with Heavy Metal Monessen. He finds a song. He finds the dirtiest, nastiest, FCC unfriendliest songs that he can, bleeps the ever-loving bleep out of them, and then sends them my way. Sometimes we play them. We've done stuff that has probably never been played on FM radio before. We played BDF by Guar. Was it Forked by a Knife by Cannibal Corpse?
Forked by a knife.
Yeah, we've got some good ones. This is another one he added on reserve. He had a busy weekend, so unfortunately this is one of the ones he just kept on backup just for these such occasions. This is, we'll let you find out on your own.
Starts here.